was instrumental in ending the Cold War. It was in 1987 when then U.S. President Ronald Reagan delivered an historical speech near the Brandenburg Gate. In it, he challenged Gorbachev to destroy the symbol of communist oppression by tearing down the Berlin Wall.
Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Michael Gorbachev.
For his role in the wall's demise, Gorbachev received a standing ovation. The Berlin Wall was built in 1961 to stop East Germans fleeing to the West. At least 138 people were killed trying to escape. Others were captured and jailed. On the night of November 9, 1989, communist authorities caved into pressure and relaxed travel restrictions. Thousands of East Berliners began streaming through the Berlin Wall to celebrate freedom with those in the West. German Chancellor Angela Merkel hopes the fall of the wall will continue to inspire those living in tyranny that no hurdle is too high in the quest for freedom. European Parliament President Martin Schulz proudly stated, "The right to travel and live anywhere in Europe is the biggest achievement of European unification." To illustrate how the wall cut through the heart of Berlin, 7,000 illuminated balloons were set up to match the original height and place where the former Death Strip once stood.
AP Network News. Germany opens the doors to the West.
With that, the balloons of freedom were released. An ode to joy, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony rang out. The millions gathered were treated to a dazzling fireworks display that lit up the night sky.
Early results show the majority of the people in Spain's northeastern region of Catalonia are in favor of breaking away from the country and carving out a new Mediterranean nation. With most of the votes counted in a mock independence poll, results indicate that 1.6 million of the more than 2 million people who voted favor a new nation. Now, more than half of eligible people did not vote, amid worries about the vote's lack of legal guarantees and its non-binding status. The wealthy autonomous region has long sought independence, but a Spanish judiciary earlier ruled such a vote was unconstitutional. Independence supporters hope the vote will pressure the government to grant Catalonia more tax and political autonomy, ultimately leading to a full independence referendum. U.S. President Obama says the fight against the Islamic State group has entered a new phase.
Phase one was getting an Iraqi government that was inclusive and credible, and we now have done that. And so now what we've done is, rather than just try to halt ISIL's momentum, we're now in a position to start going on some offense.
On Friday, Washington announced another 1,500 U.S. troops will be going to Iraq to train Iraqi personnel. Obama added fewer troops will be needed for the role over time, since coalition members are starting to partner with the U.S. on the training and assist efforts. Meanwhile, Egypt's most active militant group has sworn allegiance to Islamic State. The declaration by Ansar Beit al-Maqdis is a boost for the militants and shows the group's widening influence in the region.
In Mexico, protesters reacting to the massacre of dozens of students set fire to the door of the presidential palace and torched cars. The violence comes one day after the Attorney General revealed gruesome murder details of 43 missing students and said he's had enough. His words infuriated Mexicans who have rallied against impunity and the government's handling of that case. The students were abducted 6 weeks ago. Some were outright murdered, while others were set on fire by corrupt police working with drug gang members. The protesters set fire to the wooden door of the president's ceremonial palace. In Mexico's most violent state of Guerrero, where the students attended school, protesters torched cars. The case is the toughest challenge yet to President Enrique Peña Nieto. All right, Chris, what do you have for us in sports today?
Got some car racing to get us going. Nico Rosberg beat Lewis Hamilton to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. That was overnight. The result cuts Hamilton's lead in the driver's standings to 17 points, which means it's all or nothing in the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi. Starting from pole position, the German needed to win to keep alive his chances of taking the overall championship. Hamilton had won the previous 5 races, but a spin on lap 28 ultimately ruined his chances. The mistake put Hamilton more than 7 seconds behind Rosberg, and the gap proved enough for the German to win. Felipe Massa drove his Williams into 3rd place in front of his home crowd, ahead of the McLaren of Jenson Button. And it was a weekend to forget for 2 of London's biggest football clubs, as both Arsenal and Tottenham lost in the English Premiership last night. The Gunners' defensive frailties were exposed at Swansea as they slumped to a 2-1 defeat in Wales. Meanwhile, Spurs were humbled at home by Stoke, leaving them in the bottom half of the league. Tony Sabine reports.
It was another Europa League hangover for Spurs, who seemed sluggish after their midweek adventure in Europe's second-tier competition. Sure enough, Stoke were quicker off the mark and took the lead in the 6th minute through Bojan Krkić. Less than half an hour later, a similar counter-attacking move caught Spurs on the back foot again, allowing Jonathan Walters to make it 2-0. Nasser Chadli pulled a goal back for the home side with a well-taken strike from a tight angle, but it was too little too late as Spurs lost 2-1.
I thought we were very good today. Spurs are a good team individually. They've got some great talent, but if you get your shape right and your structure right and you have an understanding of what's required to get a positive result away from home.
And we need to find a solution very quick and in the next few weeks to change our mentality and find the solution. This is my challenge in the next few weeks.
It was a bad night too for defending Spanish champions Atletico Madrid, who lost to Real Sociedad despite taking an early lead. The home side responded with 2 goals to seal a 2-1 win, leaving Atletico 4th in La Liga. Tony Sabine, TVB News.
To Egypt now, where the Prime Minister has reopened the Sphinx for visitors after 3 years of restoration works. The refurbishment of the Sphinx was part of a project to renovate and improve Egypt's famed Giza pyramids and their surrounding areas. Restoration was a must after cracks appeared on the northern part of the Sphinx in 2010, which was caused by wind, moisture, and erosion. The Great Sphinx of Giza is one of the largest single stone statues on Earth. It is 57 meters long, 6 meters wide, and 20 meters tall. Historians believe it was built more than 4,000 years ago. And that is a wrap of our news.
Good night.
This life is not an easy one. I've made enemies, powerful enemies.
You're a wanted man, Peter Parker.
Dr. Connors, I'm Richard Parker's son.
There's been a biological attack on New York City.
Do you think what happened to you, Peter, was an accident? Do you have any idea?
Saturday, Fankel 18th Mask Expert presents The Amazing Spider-Man. Suit up with Daniel Wu. Experience the city's vibrancy with race car driver Daryl O'Young. Check out pet-friendly furniture with your animal companions. And make a bold fashion statement with sophisticated timepieces. Thursday night, Dolce Vita at 10 on Pearl. Sun Life Financial presents The Weather Report is brought to you by Sun Life Financial.
Hello, everyone. It was mainly cloudy with